This was meant to be a road trip where I knew exactly where I was going, but a massive storm in the snowy mountains kicked any plans for fly fishing right in the tender bits. And so I found myself just following my nose down the south coast of New South Wales, looking for a place to get the kayak wet and just re-experiencing that crazy, youthful feeling of freedom that comes from going without knowing where you're going. And I found myself here, like literally in paradise. Honestly, I spent that first afternoon just wandering around and shaking my head like people must do when they win the lottery or something. Fair dinkum, they don't call Australia the lucky country for nothing. It's not just some advertising phrase made up by marketing wankers. This was mine, this whole thing, basically for free. And all I'd needed to get there was my driver's license and fuel money. Bloody lucky, alright. You reckon these trees have seen a few afternoon sea breezes in their time? Check out that angle, just shearing straight off the dunes. Crazy. So I found a fork and made something specially for the wind. Big day ahead, so I figured I could do with about 8 billion calories. Now, let me tell you a fishing story. What if I told you that I caught a really nice flathead? Not this one, but about the same size. And right near the kayak, a monster flathead appears out of nowhere, and in the process of trying to eat the flathead on my line, breaks everything and I lose the lot. You'd never believe me, right? Well, what if I had the whole thing on camera? So look at this mark here. I didn't know it yet, but this is one of the biggest flathead that I'd ever seen. Now, I didn't see her, and I don't know if she saw me, but for some reason you can see she leaves station and starts sort of swimming parallel to me. I'd only just put the drone in the air earlier to this, and I was kind of, buggering around with that. But I'd left a line out the back and was trolling. And you can see she's still traveling parallel to me. And in a minute you'll see the kayak turn. When the kayak turns, that's when I catch the sort of medium-sized flathead out of that little hole behind me. There you can see me turn. That's when I've got the smaller fish on. You'll actually see it shine in the water here in a moment, right there. You can see she's come out of that gully on the right now and is heading towards the flathead that I've got on the line, and I still don't think I've seen her at this stage, but she comes in, gets that flathead of mine halfway down a gob, spits it out, and in the process I lose the lot. At this point I'm pretty glad it's only drone footage. There was a lot of swearing, some crying, things were thrown. It got pretty ugly, but that's fishing. Another great thing about having no plans is they're easy to break. So when a local told me about this track that would take me to a secluded lagoon, I filled up the tank with tea and off I went.
I don't cry when it rains no more, or I get dirt on my shoes. I don't mind climbing 8 more floors, 'cause these stairs are all heading to you. I don't wait for tomorrow's sunshine when I feel it today. But when it's cold in the dead of winter, remember that snow melts away. One more cold drink, one more roll, one more dance before the doors get closed. Please remember, enjoy the show. Let's get happy before we get old. We don't need plans or a fancy agenda. Well, let's just see where it goes. We got no care for the way people stare at the dust and the dirt on our clothes. Hey, my friend, we'll never say remember when, if we keep on making memories where we stand, where we stand. One more cold drink, one more roll, one more dance before the doors get closed. Please remember, enjoy the show. Let's get happy before we get old.
Excuse me? Who invited you? When I was younger, the decisions I made on camp food were always based on speed. Basically, I wanted everything in my belly as fast as I could so I could get fishing faster. Imagine, if you will, one of those garbage disposal units you get in a sink, but in human form. Look, it wasn't pretty, but it was effective. There was a lot of salami, I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, these days, really enjoying the food I catch and collect is almost as much fun as the catching and collecting itself. Plus, as a camping experience, well, there's really no comparison. If you haven't eaten freshly caught flathead tails, panko crumbed to golden brown, crispy perfection, well, you really just haven't lived. So good. were expecting a storm tonight, and for the last 20 minutes, look at that. Termites everywhere. I've been driving through them now for about 10 minutes. They're everywhere. Good indicator for a storm, people. Looking a little ominous. What do you reckon, Skip? It is about to hail. Little river right outside Mostlawag. How pleasant to get up in the night and drop the tarp and peg it down because it had all blown away, all those poles blew away. It was a ferocious wind last night. New lake in my campsite. Might throw a line in there later. You never know. You guys had a rough night too, eh? So this is where the coastal part of the adventure ended. The weather had really settled in here, but it looked like there might be a small window of good weather up in the mountains where I originally intended to go. We've got chopsticks again. Breakfast and lunch done. I did think about just heading home, but I still had a couple more days of leave left, so I packed up and headed west just to check it out on the way. The freedom of a road trip, eh?